Hello and welcome in.
Please do not leave your luggage unattended on the station.
Welcome to the show.
Good morning and welcome to the show. My name is Evgeni Malkin. It's Guerilla Sports Daily, Tuesday, October 8th. And I got to be honest, guys, I'm buzzing a little bit here. Doing Guerilla Sports Daily right now, heading over to the Colorado Avalanche practice facility to meet with General Manager Chris McFarland. Then myself and Megan Engley will be heading back to the Guerilla Sports Studios to do a podcast later this afternoon about the NHL and the start of the season. Then we are headed to Vegas. Season opener for the Colorado Avalanche. We will be there, T-Mobile Arena, tomorrow. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. You're coming up in just a minute. But we've got a lot of great stuff to get into, and it is hockey season, baby. NHL season officially gets going tonight. Again, we're getting into that. Talk a little bit about the Florida Panthers. They've had some fun news break over the last 24 hours. A couple different things break over the last 24 hours. Breaking news out of the NFL this morning. Robert Saleh is out with the New York Jets. We'll talk a little bit about that as well. Monday Night Football. You guys have heard me talk about it for the last number of weeks. Kansas City Chiefs continue to look like the team of destiny. Kyler Murray, fun announcement yesterday. Then we're going to talk a little bit about the report from Kevin Weeks and Igor Shesterkin, the contract that he was allegedly offered to play net for the New York Rangers for the next 8 years. We'll talk a little bit about that. Then a quick announcement at the end of the show to round things out. But let's kick it off. Like I said, NHL, it's back. We made it, folks. We made it. The best sport, the best season is officially here. Football's great. It's great to gather around on a Sunday and watch some football. But to me, hockey, this is the most fun, the most exciting, the most fast-paced, the most unpredictable sport, especially at the pro level. And we're back. We're back. 3 games kicking off the slate tonight. Now, look, hold on. Let's pause here for just a second. I'm sitting here celebrating the NHL season is starting when technically the season started last week and over the weekend with the New Jersey Devils beating the Buffalo Sabres twice in Prague as part of the NHL's Global Series. Those were technically the first 2 games of the NHL regular season. Now, if you watch Guerilla Sports Off Ice, which is our NHL show, you heard us talk about this last week in saying, it's not that I didn't like it. I love the Global Series games, actually. I love when the NHL goes overseas in an attempt to grow the game. We're going to talk about growing the game here in just a minute. I love it. If you're going to take the time to do these types of marquee events, you've got to market them better. You've got to make sure that fans know, hey, the season is starting today. I cannot tell you how many people I talked to or interacted with, whether it be in person at the rink or online, saying, I did not know the season was starting today. I did not know there were games that counted starting today, last week. So I'm referring to this as the start of the NHL season, even though it was technically last week in Prague. It starts tonight. 3 games on the slate. Interesting time here for this first one. St. Louis Blues at Seattle Kraken, dropping the puck at 4:30 Eastern. It's just a regular Tuesday, folks. It's not a, nothing crazy. It's not a bank holiday or anything like that. But hey, that's a 1:30 puck drop in Seattle. Take the day off work. Go enjoy hockey all day long if you're in Seattle. I love it because we get to start watching hockey at 2:30 here in Denver. Then the Bruins are going into Florida as the Panthers are raising their first ever Stanley Cup championship banner tonight. That'll be at 5:00 Mountain Time. And then rounding out the slate, the Chicago Blackhawks and Connor Bedard skating in to Utah for the first time in NHL history. That will be the first game in their franchise's history, technically. again, a lot of technicalities tonight on the NHL's first night. Utah Hockey Club, of course, were relocated from Arizona, but the way that the league has looked at this, given the circumstances that surrounded everything with the Arizona move to Utah, the NHL is really looking at this as it's a brand new franchise. And instead of doing a proper expansion draft, they were just given one entire team's roster. Again, I'm not saying you have to agree with that. I'm not saying you got to like it or anything like that. But the NHL is treating the Utah Hockey Club as a brand new franchise, and they will skate in their franchise's first ever regular season game tonight. That will be played at the Delta Center in Salt Lake. A lot of exciting things on the slate for tonight. I will be locked in to all of this tonight. Today, what do you mean tonight? Starting today, starting at 2:30 Mountain, St. Louis Blues, Seattle Kraken. I will be tuned in, watching all night long. I love this time of year. Nights like tonight. You got days like this upcoming Saturday where there'll be 14 games on the NHL slate. My wife will see me watching hockey at, especially during the playoffs. It's always the best. At 11 a.m., noon, or today, 2:30. And then it'll be almost midnight, and that last Pacific time zone game will be wrapping up. And she'll be like, how is this still going on? How are we possibly still watching hockey? And so it's that time of year. That'll happen today. Cannot wait. We got Avery in the chat here. Big shout out to Avery. Met her at Avs practice a few weeks ago. Avs will be practicing at Family Sports today, not at Ball Arena. They'll be at Family Sports. Those practices always open to the public. Mentioned that the Florida Panthers will be raising their championship banner, or their Stanley Cup championship banner tonight. And then I also mentioned growing the game a minute ago. 2 fun announcements coming out of Sunrise, Florida in the last 24 hours. The first being this right here. A Stanley Cup ring for the Florida Panthers was unveiled yesterday, and it was presented to the players and the ceremony last night. These rings, they get bigger and bigger. They're always a little bit more ridiculous than the time before. Really like these ones. Love that they followed the shape of the shield in the logo. And if on the underside, it's got, has become a little bit of a tradition on the inside of the ring. It's got every team that they beat on their way to the Stanley Cup with the series count as well. It's also got a nice rat there for the rat tradition in Florida. Just a lot of really nice touches to it. But again, I love seeing these rings for teams that are first-time winners. We saw it for Vegas last year. Seeing it for Florida this year. I just always love getting a glimpse of what the teams can come up with. It's a unique opportunity to get to design and wear a Stanley Cup ring. So congratulations to the Florida Panthers. Congratulations to their players. You will have that ring forever. No one can ever take that from you. And they look great. But the other news out of Sunrise, Florida comes this morning. And I almost had our team make a different, just build me a little different over the shoulder graphic here. Nothing crazy that goes into it. But then I said, no, you know what? I want to leave it because of what it signifies and the growth of the game in South Florida. The Florida Panthers announced today that for the first time in franchise history since 1994, the Florida Panthers have sold out their season tickets. Defending Stanley Cup champions, raising a banner tonight, and it will be in front of a packed house. And they officially have a season ticket waiting list. This has never happened before for the Florida Panthers. And this is growing the game. This is growing the game. It's in a market that has for a long time been the butt of the joke. The empty seats have been something that makes their rounds on the internet, and hockey purists, and I'm using that phrase absolutely in quotes, have always criticized the mere existence of teams like the Florida Panthers saying those aren't hockey markets. People don't care. This shows I loved the way that the Florida Panthers embraced that stigma, that reputation in the playoffs. They had the rally towels that said all 6 of us, because again, one of the jokes is there's 6 Panther fans. And I just love that they embraced it. They embraced the community and they put a winning product on the ice. You guys hear me talk about it if you follow our off ice show. Talking about that's how the winning culture, winning Stanley Cups. There's a direct correlation, and it's not just hockey. It's not just Stanley Cups. There's a direct correlation between your team winning a championship and youth registration in that area going up for a given sport. Again, the one that you guys hear me frequently refer to is USA Hockey enrollments, but it's true of every major sport. There's a direct parallel between your pro team winning a championship and enrollment in youth sports. The Florida Panthers are the embodiment of that. Embrace the community, embrace the fan base, put a winning product on the ice, invest in your product, and this is what you get in a non-traditional hockey market, a market that has struggled for years to put butts in seats. When you do it the right way, these are the results you get. You win championships, you hang banners, and you fill your building. I love to see it. Love to see it. Rings look great, and I was just really happy to see that they sold out their season tickets. I'm always rooting for non-traditional markets. It was one of the major reasons why I was so bummed when the Arizona Coyotes moved from Arizona, because that's a non-traditional hockey market, and those are important in every sport. To have your non-traditional markets, that's how you grow the game. Like I mentioned, guys, Colorado Avalanche skating into Vegas tomorrow. They will kick their season off at T-Mobile Arena on the Las Vegas Strip. Myself and Megan Angley will be there, bringing you guys everything from inside the building. Make sure you guys are tuning in there, but we've got more coverage coming your guys' way on the Avs this afternoon. Guerrilla Sports Off Ice at 1 o'clock. And yes, I saw a comment come in the chat. You can always find those shows available on our YouTube immediately after the show, as well as going out on your preferred podcast platform, audio only. That happens immediately after as well. So if you can't catch the shows live, don't worry. We got you covered. You can catch them through either audio or video right after the show is done airing. Let's shift gears here away from the NHL for a bit, talking NFL. We usually kick off with Monday Night Football. We're not starting with NFL today, and we're not going to start with Monday Night Football either. Robert Saleh in New York is out as the head coach of the Jets. This comes just 5 games into the season. A little surprising. Was speaking to some folks this morning who know a lot more than I do about this and the inner workings of the NFL. That were a little shocked at the timing of this. There's been a lot of conversation that, he was on the hot seat and folks knew that after how bad last season went, he was on the hot seat, but there was really kind of the, sentiment of, well, he's going to get a little bit of runway here, given that he's got Aaron Rodgers back. And that Aaron Rodgers missed an entire season of football. He's going to get some time to work into this season, make sure that Aaron Rodgers is back up and comfortable. 5 games, just his 4th season in New York, 5 games into this year, and they're 2-3. But perhaps the issue isn't the record. It's the way they're losing games. They're losing kind of heartbreaker type games. You even go back to that game against the Broncos where they just completely stalled out, had nothing to give, and it was very uninspired. You also have to wonder, is there something else going on behind the scenes, whether it be between just Saleh and management and a disagreement on how to handle things. Or if you remember, let's go back a couple weeks here. That exchange on the sidelines between Saleh and Aaron Rodgers immediately after a touchdown. Saleh went to throw a hug on Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers pushed him off. Did not have the look on his face that said, "Hey, nice, we just scored a touchdown. Good job, everybody." Aaron Rodgers did not look happy. And the interaction between the two absolutely went viral because it clearly looked like Aaron Rodgers was upset despite having just scored a touchdown. So you have to imagine that there's something going on behind the scenes here. You have to imagine that there's something else that we aren't seeing that led to this after just 5 weeks in his fourth season with an elite defense and a team that was a popular Super Bowl pick coming into the season. Robert Saleh officially looking for a job after being fired by the New York Jets early this morning. Let's talk a little bit about that Monday Night Football game last night. The Kansas City Chiefs, 26-13 in what a game that really probably could have been a blowout. The Chiefs continue to roll on. You guys have heard me refer to them as the team that they just look like the team of destiny right now. They're winning these squeak 'em out games. They're not playing well. They're getting the results. Last night, 4 separate times we're forced to kick field goals from inside 40 yards, and we're just 2 for 7 inside the red zone. Patrick Mahomes still trying to find his groove on this season. The Chiefs still trying to find their best football of the season. But as we hear all the time, when we talk to Colorado Avalanche head coach Jared Bednar, you'd rather learn lessons in wins than in losses. And that's what the Chiefs are doing right now. They're still working to find the best version of their game. And they're rumored right now to be in on Devontae Adams, although we'll see if the Las Vegas Raiders are willing to trade inside their own division. But the Chiefs are figuring things out while continuing to win games. That's best case scenario for teams, especially contending teams like the Kansas City Chiefs. And on the other side of the ball, the New Orleans Saints. It was an ugly game. Like I said, this one could have been a blowout had the Chiefs been able to figure it out inside the red zone or, even from inside 40 yards. Derek Carr, though. Derek Carr drops to 3-15 all time in his career against the Chiefs. Of course, he used to play for the Raiders, divisional opponent, so he's got a lot of experience playing against the Chiefs. 3-15 against the Chiefs in his career, and get this, just 1 for 9, 1 and 9, not 1 for 9, 1 and 9 head-to-head against Patrick Mahomes. Knowing that, probably had a good idea that last night wasn't going to go that well for the Saints, but the struggles continue for Derek Carr against the Chiefs. The Chiefs win handily, 26-13. I feel like the Chiefs are in prime time every week, but again, who am I to say they shouldn't be at this point? They just keep winning, keeping with the NFL, and another quarterback in the NFL making headlines, not only because of his outstanding play early in the season, which has been great, Kyler Murray, Call of Duty partnership announced yesterday for Kyler Murray and Call of Duty. He is their newest official spokesman. And look, why is this noteworthy or newsworthy even at all? Well, the statement that Kyler Murray put out with the tweet announcing this partnership, all it said was, quote, "To the trolls who memed me into a bag, thank you." Kyler Murray has for a long time been criticized. He's an outspoken gamer. We know he likes to game. A lot of criticism came about 2 years ago when he signed his extension with the Cardinals, and word got out that in that extension, there was a clause that specifically outlined an hour's minimum of film study time. Kyler Murray did end up coming out after that and defending himself, saying the fact that anybody thinks that I would get to this point in my career without being a student of the game, without being someone who would study the game heavily, he called it insulting and said it was a joke. there have been people who have pointed out that right around the time of a new Call of Duty release, there is some funny kind of anecdotal stats that you can follow that Kyler Murray's play kind of rides a little bit of wave around the time of those Call of Duty releases. He's a big Call of Duty fan. Again, I do think a lot of it is just kind of funny jokes and stuff like that. But to his point, everyone laughed and laughed and laughed. Him and his agent and Call of Duty saw an opportunity. Kyler Murray, the newest spokesman for Call of Duty, Black Ops 6 is what he was hashtagging up yesterday with the post about the new partnership. So there you go. Kyler Murray, it is no longer just a meme. He is officially a Call of Duty guy. Let's take it back to the NHL to wrap things up today before I got to jet out of here to get down to the practice facility to speak to General Manager Chris McFarland. Reports this morning from Kevin Weeks, NHL insider, that Igor Shesterkin, considered among the best goaltenders in all of hockey, due for a new contract after this season, was offered and reportedly turned down an 8-year, $88 million deal to stay in the Big Apple and play in net for the New York Rangers for almost the next decade. Igor Shesterkin, many are assuming, will become the highest paid goaltender in NHL history with this new deal. And that absolutely would have made him the highest paid goaltender in NHL history. But he turned it down, saying, I think I'm worth a little bit more than that. And if that's what the offer that's getting out now that he turned down, what is it going to finally settle at when he decides to take a deal? 8 years, that's a max term, $11 million per. That would be more than $1 million, or right at $1 million more than the current highest paid goaltender in NHL history. That is Sergei Bobrovsky, playing down in Sunrise, Florida. And oh yeah, raising a Stanley Cup banner tonight. So Igor Shesterkin reportedly, according to Kevin Weeks, has turned down an 8-year, $88 million deal carrying an average annual value of $11 million, which would have made him the highest paid netminder in hockey history. We'll see where that one lands. Wrapping things up for today with something that hits close to home for everyone in the hockey community. Something that we've talked a lot about, and it's something that on the day the NHL kicks off is still hard to wrap your head around. Johnny and Matthew Gaudreau passed away horribly, tragically this summer. Unexpected, two young men with a lot of life ahead of them, kids on the way, and hockey careers and coaching and futures in hockey, all ahead of them, lose their life in a drunk driving accident. They were hit on their bikes when a drunk driver, tried to make an illegal pass in the shoulder and killed them both, leaving behind families, growing families, things like that. Well, the Colorado Avalanche are opening their home schedule against the Columbus Blue Jackets, where Johnny Gaudreau played. And so we at Guerilla Sports reached out to, her name is Adrian, but you guys know her as Guffy Chan on Twitter. The same artist who organized the Stand With Naz movement a couple years ago during the Stanley Cup playoffs. We partnered with her to make this right here. We have it in a drawing. You can an illustration. You can head on over to the Guerilla Sports Twitter account. Find more information there. We will be around Ball Arena on Saturday, handing these out to fans who would like to take in a printed sheet of paper and show their support for the Gaudreaus against the Columbus Blue Jackets, who are just going through, I can't even imagine what they're going through for this entire season. Every single night will be a reminder of Johnny Gaudreau and his brother. So we wanted to do a little something to help show our support for the hockey community. So we've got links to this if you would like to print one off for yourself at home. Or like I said, we will be around Ball Arena handing them out for free before the game on Saturday, so that as many folks can get into the building and show their support for the Gaudreaus and just the entire hockey community. And I want to give a big shout out and thank you to Adrian. Like I said, you guys know her handle online is Guffy at Guffy Chan. She's been involved with this type of stuff before. And when we reached out to her, she said, look, I was just looking for an excuse to do something like this anyways. So she was on board right away, put all this together really quickly. And like I said, it was just something that myself, Megan Angley, JJ Jerez talked about. We're all so deeply ingrained in the hockey community. And we just said it wouldn't feel right to let this go unacknowledged, especially with, the Blue Jackets. Yes. But the legacy of Johnny Gaudreau being in the building for that home opener for the Avalanche. We felt we had to do something. It's our community, and our community was hit hard this summer. So, like I said, head on over Guerilla Sports Twitter. I believe Megan Angley has the links on her page as well. Head on over. You guys can get one of your own to print out to bring to the game, or look for us. We'll put out some more details about roughly where we'll be on Saturday handing these out. So our hearts and thoughts have been with the Gaudreaus this whole time. They'll continue to be all season long. And we hope this small little gesture from Avs fans and the folks of Denver in Ball Arena on Saturday will just be a small gesture. As well, on our website right now, we do have an article up talking a little bit about the artist and all of this, as well as links to charities in different areas where you guys can donate to help support and keep the Gaudreau's brothers, their legacy alive, as well as a ton of information in there. Megan compiled around ways that you can get around after the games or just moving through downtown Denver. If you've been drinking, there's so many options out there. Getting behind the wheel is just, it's so unbelievably unnecessary and silly and foolish, and you shouldn't do it. And so Megan made sure that if you are going to that game on Saturday, that you know every single option you have on how to get home safely that night. So please make sure to go check that out, read the article, learn a little bit about Adrian who put this together, and make sure you find ways to get home safely, not just yourself, but protecting everyone around you. So that's how we'll wrap it up for today. We're thinking about the Gaudreaus always, especially as we, like I said off the top, get hockey season started. They're with us for sure, and we just want to make sure that conversation doesn't go away. We continue to remember the Gaudreaus. So like I said, head on over and check that out. We'll leave it up on the screen as we end today. That'll do it. We're kicking hockey season off, guys. I'm heading over to the practice facility right now. So thank you all so much for hanging with us this morning. My name is Jesse Montano, Guerilla Sports Daily. We'll do it again tomorrow. Thanks so much, guys.